Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next session of Meet the Members of Empower Africa. I'm excited and honored to host this podcast. My name is Shai Bernstein. I'm VP of Business Development and Partnerships at Empower Africa. And we're having more and more of these now because our community is growing and growing. And we're going to have this Meet the Members podcast go out every day so that you get to meet our wonderful members. And before I present our distinguished guest today, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, Empower Africa is a business community with a mission to drive investment, trade, and job creation in Africa. We believe in trade over aid and that business is the best way to grow, build, and create sustainable and scalable solutions. We believe in bringing good people together and the power of synergy. Our goal is to create connections, optimize communication, and maximize on collaboration. The business community brings together entrepreneurs and SMEs, investors, banks, PEs, VCs, family offices, government officials, multinational enterprises, and nonprofits all in one place so we can enhance the communication and collaboration. Speaking of bringing good people together, it's my pleasure and honor to welcome today Frank Aswani. Frank is the CEO of AVPA, which is the African Venture Philanthropy Alliance. Frank, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Shai. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful. So please tell us a bit about yourself, Frank.
So Shai, I'm Kenyan. I am the firstborn in a family of 5 boys. I live in Joburg for 17 years now. I have a family of wife and 2 kids. My wife is half Rwandan, half Tanzanian. My son has a South African name. My daughter has a Nigerian Yoruba name.
Wow.
So we're a total Pan-African family.
Pan-African.
Very. I'm a veterinary doctor by training. I studied 6 years to become a veterinary doctor, but now I'm working in impact, so totally different space.
Wow.
I have an MBA from University of Pretoria, Gibbs Business School. I'm an avid music collector. I have something like 6,000 CDs, maybe 1,000 vinyls.
Whoa.
And maybe 10 terabytes of digital music.
Wow. Wait a second. We didn't speak about this. Hold on. I have to cut you off and then I'll continue. Music is one of those things that I need on a daily basis, like oxygen.
Yeah.
I still have a band. We play in the weekends a bit. Tell me, can you share 2 of your favorite musicians? What type of music?
It's hard for me to pick 2 because my taste for genre is very broad.
I know what you mean.
Listening to a lot of Congolese music, fan of Congolese music. So we grew up listening to people like Franco and TPOK, jazz and tableau. I have come and been so Luther Vandross to Marvin Gaye. I'm a big jazz fan as well, so I listen of Caribbean music, so like Zouk music, like Kassav. I listen to a whole spectrum of things. So it's very hard for me to pick one particular musician.
Okay, great. So how did you move from learning to be a veterinarian doctor to working in impact investment?
So it's been an interesting journey. So in my second year, I knew I was never going to be a vet because I as much as I was a science student, inclined student, I liked the business side of medicine, and I found the traditional medicine quite boring. And I also discovered something about myself, that I need to have a balance of life. So as much as I was studying veterinary medicine, I needed to play sports. So I was playing rugby. I captained my university rugby team, University of Nairobi Mean Machine. And I also needed to do other things. So studying all my life was never going to be my choice, I discovered. So then I decided I'll finish my degree and use it to get a job on the business side of medicine. So I joined a pharmaceutical company called Eli Lilly. And I moved from Kenya, went to work with Lilly in Europe, worked in Europe, in the UK and Switzerland, came back to Kenya. And for 7 years after that, I ran Sub-Saharan Africa, 26 countries, anything from Nigeria, Ghana to Southern Africa. And then a couple of different career changes in between here, including the African Leadership Academy. And I did some consulting in youth unemployment and in youth entrepreneurship.
Wow.
And then but all along, when I lived in Europe, I always wanted to do, one of the things that I found out about myself is that I'm an Afro optimist. Africa is my home. Like many people, I left to go to Europe and thought, I don't want to come back. then I realized, no, actually, Africa is home for me. So I always decided that my roles going forward were going to be very Afrocentric. And I'm going to try and influence the continent as much as I can. And as I saw how Africa struggled with aid and we've become dependent on aid, we've needed to find a new approach to delivering impact. And impact investing became a very interesting space where you can blend traditional grant-making discipline and private sector capital and discipline and skills to build something a lot more sustainable and a lot more longer-lasting than any of the two would have on their own.
Amen. Amen. Fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic. So can you tell us a bit about, specifically your organization and what you're working on?
So Shai, Africa faces a really tough challenge. We're entering the last decade of the SDGs. And Sub-Saharan Africa specifically is on course to meet only 2 of the 17 SDGs at the rate we are going. Okay, our annual financing deficit on the continent is between $500 billion to $1.2 trillion annually between now and 2030. And traditionally, that money has come from grants, donors, and some government funding and some FDI. We know aid to Africa is reducing. Through the Trump era, USAID cut its aid. The British government has just lowered its aid budget from 0.5 to 0.7%, from 0.7 to 0.5% of its GDP. And that's on a shrunken GDP on the back of COVID. So we've got to think differently as Africa. The solutions of the past are not going to take us to what we require going forward. Yeah. So what AVPA is trying to do is trying to see how we can mobilize capital to close that financing gap. And to do that, we're an investor-only community in recipients of capital. We're only taking deployers of capital. And these deployers of capital are deploying either grants, debt, or equity. So we have everything from foundations, impact funds, PE funds, DFIs to governments and the works.
Right.
And the purpose is we believe that the solution to us mobilizing adequate capital to meet our social and financing needs comes in us blending traditional grant capital and private capital. So how do we de-risk social investments to crowd in more private capital into this space? Because as much as we need $1.2 trillion, the global financial and capital markets have over $200-300 trillion. We just need 1.2 of that a year. But how do we creatively bring that capital into Africa? So our objective is to bring together social investors to collaborate so that we can increase and mobilize capital for impact.
Fantastic. I love it. Okay, so who would you like to connect to within the Empower Africa business community and in general?
So first of all, I want to connect with people who have a passion to see a better Africa. People who believe we deserve better. People who want to play a significant role in transforming the lives of our people. That's first of all, is someone or people who've got a heart for the continent and a passion for the continent. That's the first thing. Secondly, I want to connect with people who are looking to collaborate in deploying capital for impact on the continent. And these are, as I said, anyone deploying grants, debt, or equity in the process. I also want to connect to people who are providing non-financial capital. So people who've got intellectual capital, human capital that can blend with the financial capital to create impact. And I'm also willing to connect with people who believe that, who want to also help us learn and accelerate our learning in Africa. So I'm particularly keen to connect with a lot of South-to-South contacts because I think we are facing very similar situations and circumstances in Africa as Asia is facing or as Latin America is facing. Right. So anyone who's got experience from those parts of the world where we can learn and accelerate our own learning around the problem we're trying to solve, I'd be very happy to connect with them.
Fantastic. Wonderful. And to wrap things up, I always like to ask our guests to share a nice quote or saying that they resonate with. So please.
Yeah. So currently, because of the challenges we're facing and because of the fact that we can't use past solutions to solve future problems or the problem we're facing right now, the quote I'd like to leave everyone with is that the future has no expert.
The future has no expert.
The future has no expert. Okay? We all have a really significant part and role to play to be significant problem solvers in the world tomorrow. We're better off trying and failing than not trying at all. But so long as we're failing forward, it's fine. That would be my
love it. Failing forward. I love it. Great. Awesome. Frank, I look forward to continue discussing offline. Thank you for joining us and stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, Shai. All the best to you too.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.